Good evening. Is the frequency in use? I know it was just a few minutes ago. Appreciate it. Appreciate clearing the frequency, that is. My name is Paul, K4PEW, net control for the actually at Simplex Net. Is any emergency or priority traffic? Nah, I knew there wouldn't be. If there is, call 911 first, and you can call us. If we can help you, we will. You can do that anytime during the net. For information on the net, you can go to YouTube right now and see our see my radio, that is, my service of the faceplate on my radio, I guess I call it, the display, and you can see how my signal does to yours, etc. And you can also, I don't know, like my power is full power. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'll have to look at that. Where was? Oh yeah, radio. You can see my radio. You can also go to YouTube and put my call K4PEW in the search block, and it'll bring it right up. You should be able to figure it out from there. You can also go to Facebook under MJ Simplexton. It's MJ Simplexton Net. That's Simplexton. And you'll be able to see me if that's what you want to do. You can also go to groups.io at groups.io and then put in the search block for MJSS. You can join our email group, a reminder group. You can also see the net schedule on the face of the group. You don't have to join if you don't want to. You just get we do a fair amount of announcements for buying and selling equipment, and also technical help for those that need it. And we'd be happy. There's almost 200 of us here, so there's always an opportunity for somebody to help you, either buy, sell equipment, or whatever. You know, that normally meets it, or you can email me. That's right, I forgot. You don't have to do that. But it's K4PEW@ARRL.net. And that normally meets at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night here on 146.415. Tonight we're moving on from there to 28.415, upper sideband, and then on to 223.415. This is net number 981. We're starting from the west, but I'm going to do announcements first. There's another net on Sunday nights. It's on 10 meters. We're doing one on 10 meters tonight. And there also is one on Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. That's also on 28.415. And that's done by Michael, KM4YRF. And he's approaching his 4th year in that net, so it's coming right along. I don't know if any of the 10-meter nets have held up that long in this area. I've only been here for 12 years. But that one's a good one. And he also goes on from upper side band to 10 meters FM, and then on to 223.415. Any other announcements? We don't have there's no breakfast this Saturday. A little hum in there for some reason. Haven't noticed that before. Where was I? Oh yeah, any other announcements I need to know about? K4PEW. All righty. Again, starting from the west. What did I say? Oh yeah, well, first we start on people short on time, mobile or first-time check-ins. Please come in. All right, very good. We don't have any of those, so we'll start from the west. Please come in.
KO4 MKD.
Hello, Doug. You doing well?
Trying to stay warm, and I just wish Mother Nature would make up her mind.
She's just trying to teach you a lesson not to put away your long pants.
Well, she did a good job of it today.
Yeah, no, this morning it was what, 60, and now tonight it's going down to 28 in the morning.
Yeah, I guess I should expect it. It's Tennessee, and I've lived here all my life. I should be used to it by now, but the older I get, the less I enjoy it.
Well, the swings here seem to be pretty dramatic. I lived in Florida for 35 years, and we didn't have, we did have some temperature swings, obviously, but not like this.
You're right. I can remember fishing out of Percy Creek Lake in short sleeve shirts in the middle of February, and then the next week we'd be shoveling snow.
Oh, wow. Seems funny how, well, again, it's all, you know what its fault it is? It's Canada. All that cold air comes from Canada.
Well, we need to do something about that. Maybe we can build a wall.
Oh, man, that's another wall. Boy, that would be a wall, wouldn't it?
Or you know what? Maybe we can just put a dome.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. By the way, I lived on the Canadian border for about my first 20 years or so. And then I did it for about 30 years or so, whatever that was. And more than that, really, 30, almost 40 years. And I went back up there for a couple of years to live. And while I lived up there, like I say, the first 19, 20 years, I never saw Border Patrol once not once. After 9/11, I saw them every day.
Yeah, I've been across that Canadian border a few times. I used to go up there. I think I told you I'd go western New York and go deer hunting. And of course, we'd always go up to the falls, go across, but there was no problem back then to show your driver's license.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't a big deal. I'm saying we actually saw the mobile guys patrolling the riverside and patrolling, the Niagara River where the border was. I don't know where else they were, but that's where I saw them.
Yeah, once they get down so far near that fall, they better just let them go on if they want to cross there.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many crossed across the river. I know a friend of mine. It was probably prior to 9/11, but he used to take his jet ski and go across the river to Canada.
So I got a question: when somebody tries to go over the falls in like a barrel or whatever, whatever pieces are left, if they do happen to live, who picks them up? Is it U.S. or Canadian police?
It depends on who gets to him first. If he's on the over towards the other border, towards the Canadian side of the border, they'll pick him up, and it's on this side. It's like a joint affair. They don't really care. They'll just arrest him and slap him around a little.
I mean, after they've taken that ride, they don't need a lot of slapping around, but that's pretty impressive. I've ridden on the Maid of the Mist that noses right up into the waterfall, and I'm a tightwad and a cheapskate, but I recommend spend the money and go on that ride if you get a chance.
Oh yeah, I hadn't gone since I was a kid. You only need to go once to be impressed.
It will do it. It will absolutely impress you. You can just feel the power of that water.
Yeah, it's only about 1 million gallons a second, I'm told.
It's a whole bunch. It's more than I can swim through.
Just think how much water went over that falls before the 2 hydroelectric plants were drawing off water from the upper river.
Yeah, I think they do that more at nighttime now. At least that's what I was told. That they try to leave the falls running pretty free during the day, just for the tourism.
Oh, they do, but it's still drawn off, but at a much lesser rate. When I was a kid, and both of the big hydro plants were there, but we could go right at the end of my street was a boat launch. Well, it was a little marina, private marina, and we could go down to the boat launch in that private marina, and around sunset you could actually see the water level in the river slowly go down.
Yeah, I haven't ever been there during that time. Well, actually, I have been there at night, but we were always up there in the wintertime. It was always kind of nice to see the ice running from the mist. In fact, I carry a pretty heavy beard in the wintertime when I'm going hunting, and I had ice crystals all over my beard. Oh,
I believe it. Oh yeah, it's murder on the trees and it's murder on the people. And we used to like to go down there in the winter because there was very few tourists down in the Falls State Park in the dead of winter.
Yep, I would be one of those unusual ones. I used to go down there and feed the black squirrels.
Oh yeah, very much so. Well, very good. Anything else for that, Doug?
No, that's all. Everybody stay warm and stay safe. And hey, spring's on its way. KO4MKD.
Yeah, very good. That was Doug, KO4MKD, and he's up in oh man, I forgot again. Usually I have to make a note of it.
Greenbrier.
I don't know why that escapes me. That's really funny. I'll have to think of I don't know what. Green Acres, maybe. That's what I'll think of.
That was good. That was a good job. I don't look much like Eddie Albert or Zsa Gabor.
No, I never watched the show. I mean, I rarely saw the show. It kind of was too busy working and being married, but at the time, and I really got a kick out of it though when I did see it, because the city people going out and farming is a pretty dumb idea from the start, you know.
Well, it was good entertainment and pretty clean.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good entertainment. Anyway, that was Doug, KO4MKD from Greenbrier. Who else is West? Please come in.
Hello, Charlie, Big Director.
Hey, Greg, making any headway on the CW?
Yeah, I still practice it every day, so getting pretty close, or I'm ready enough to embarrass myself when you're ready.
Oh yeah, I am. It cracks me up how I can speed right along. I say speed, 10 words a minute, and then all of a sudden it'll give me a letter, and I go, "What the hell is that?" And I have to think. It's like this. All of a sudden, this brain freeze comes in on one letter. And I've done it 1,000 times.
Yeah, and it'll happen like with the letter G, but you think I would know.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's fun and it's frustrating, but I've gotten much better than I ever have been, really, in recognition. And that's the key, is the quick recognition.
Oh, I'm 1,000% better than I was before. I can send pretty quick. Like we talked before, and I think in 10 words a minute, I could probably do. I may not. My etiquette might not be very good.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's a learning curve, and then we'll work our way up to 12 words a minute.
Yeah, I hear that. I heard somewhere on the news that was having a 62-degree temperature swing, where 30 is not unusual here. About 62, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty wide swing. It drives the trees crazy. Yeah, plus the other things that are growing right now.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday that the shrubs and the trees are blooming.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think this short duration ought to kill them too much. Do you think?
They might kill off some buds, but they'll just come back up, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Just anyway, it's kind of cool. I know that the turtle in my pond in the back, that big, I say big, he's about a foot in diameter. He came up and looked around yesterday. He didn't come up and look around today.
Do you feed him any?
Oh yeah, we feed him some stuff. There's not. He used to eat he ate all the frogs, and he ate whatever other things were in there, and I don't know what all he eats, but we feed him turtle food.
What kind of turtle?
It's a Cumberland slider, I believe is the correct name.
So he's pretty much underwater.
He's usually, yeah. If it's not light out, he's underwater. During the day, if it's sunny, he'll be out sunning. But when it gets cold, he just goes into hibernation wherever he sits on the bottom.
Yeah, is it a soft shell or?
No, it's a hard shell.
Very cool. Well, anyway, I've held it too long. Katie, for TV.
Very good. That's Greg in Antioch. Who else is West?
KG4 ILV, Jackson Donaldson.
Who are you waiting on?
Come back on that, Paul, because we've got our static thing going on tonight.
I do hear a little bit of that. I heard it earlier in the evening too. No, I said, who are you waiting on to jump in there? Are you afraid to step on somebody?
No, I remember seeing those sliding turtles though. They're over at Radnor Lake. There's a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah, no, they sit out on the logs until somebody bothers them. But they're pretty cool animals. The turtles. He sits out there, just suns in the summer, and he's just lazy, you know.
Sounds like me.
Oh yeah, yeah. He does more than I do.
Same here. All right, Paul. Thanks for doing the net. Appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.
Very good. That was Jack. He's in Donaldson, Kilo Golf 4, India, Lima Victor. Who else is West? West or South? Hey, Tony, you doing all right? You're staying away from it, man. You're doing enough theater and performing arts center stuff. You're gonna become a performer or something.
I might get cultured.
Do you think there's any chance?
Not really, no. But I mean, look what they did with buttermilk and cottage cheese. So there's hope, right?
Yeah. I love both of those things.
All right, there you go.
Hey, did you enjoy I can't ever remember his first name. The astrophysicist.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Yes and no. It was a good show. He was funny. He, had a lot of quips. He was really kind of, terse sometimes. But there was precious little astrophysics in it, which was kind of a disappointment. It was all smoke and not a lot of meat.
The reason, because it confused me. I saw a review from a different city where he did that. I'll say performance. I don't know what to call it. I don't want to call it an act. But it mentioned, he didn't say that he didn't spend a lot of time on astrophysics. They spent a lot of time telling in the article that he did a lot of, I'll just call it entertaining by his references to movies.
Yeah, he did that too. He also made quite a few references with his resentment about tall white men.
No, say it ain't so. Really?
Yep.
Did you tell him you slouched?
Yeah, really. Anyway, I'll let somebody else get in here. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure you read my little diatribe that I wrote. So that's enough. Careful, KFQ.
Yeah, very good. That was Tony. KF4, KFQ in Smyrna. We were talking about that tight. Man, I get his name all messed up again. What's his name again, Tony?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, I always want to stick to Tyson in front of something. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's the astrophysicist. He's written several books, and he's a fairly prominent guy in. Well, he's a prominent guy in talk shows. I've seen him a few times. Anyway, he's a pretty sharp guy, I think. I'm not up on astrophysics, so I can't really be a reference point for him. Who else is west or south?
Kilo Echo 4, Sierra Yankee Victor.
Early talking to. Am I? So you seem to have a good path between you and Earl.
Yeah, got a better path to him than I have you.
Yes, that's what I was saying. I could hear you with this noise, and just as I heard Earl with noise from him. So we've got an issue with me to both you on the southwest and him to the southeast.
I think they put them out between during the winter.
I don't know. It's really odd too. Anyway, I'm doing my antenna location. I think is part of the problem, but I've only moved it about 25 feet, and it's at the same elevation. So I don't know what the heck's going on. Anyway, appreciate you checking in. You got anything for the net?
Oh man, we'll let you know when it's getting more fluffy.
Very good. That's Larry in Rockvale. Kilo Golf 4 Sierra Yankee Victor. Who else is south? South or east? East?
Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot.
Hey, Michael. Yankee Romeo Fox. Just writing it down here. What's up with your life over there?
Well, I just got back from Kroger's picking up my antibiotics to try to get rid of the rest of the bit of pneumonia I have.
Yeah, that stuff's lingering, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I'll be so glad when it's over. After I got through with the 10 days of antibiotics, man, I felt great, and then, in about 3 or 4 days, it's going downhill again.
Huh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how you prevent that, but just swinging temperature doesn't help a bit.
Oh no, I'm sure.
Anyways, you taking any time off again from work?
Nope. Emily and I both had doctor's appointments today, so I worked for 2 hours this morning, and I was off the rest of the day. But I have to work the rest of the week.
Yeah, boy. Hey, on the other Emily, what's the situation there?
I haven't heard anything. She still hadn't been found, and it's not looking good at this point.
You think they just? I don't know any of the details, but did it sound like it was really something nasty, or was it she's just off with some boy?
Her boyfriend has been abusive in the past. I think he had blacked her eye a couple months ago, and so at this point she could just be hiding from him, but that's really all we know. You can find out a little more information on Facebook. Just look up Emily Bradley missing person, and there's some stuff on there.
I'll take a look. Well, very good. Let's hope that works out for the best. We don't need any more missing women.
Nope, we sure don't.
Or any abused women.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, the best I've ever done is said a few bad words to them.
yeah. I've had a couple women be abusive to me, but I've never been abusive toward a woman.
No, it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's, well, I don't have any reason to. I don't care if you're big or small. There's no reason because, well, I've met some women that could probably take me, I guess.
Me too.
Anyway, well, let's hope that works out for the best, and I hope you feel better. Anything else?
That's all I got, Paul. Thank you for doing what you do. How high is your 700?
It's about 20 feet at the base, above my 686 feet. So it's approximately 706.
Well, I thought mine and yours were about the same height.
Well, when you get your killing me.
I'll have to.
You could. That's what's great about height. You don't have to have a lot of power. Anyway, very good, Mike. That was Kilo Mike for Yankee Romeo Foxtrot. Don't forget to check into his net on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. on 28415. Who else is? And it's upper sideband. Who else is east?
Hi, it's me.
Hey, Mr. Earl, what's up?
I don't know. I was hoping maybe your antenna was up, but apparently it is. It's just off a degree, about plus or minus 10 to 15 degrees.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Both you and Larry are both about the same signal strength to me.
Okay, so you get that, well, I got, had to turn my preamp on to hear you. I thought maybe you was going to have a 5 watt net, activity going on this evening. But anyway, it's been a
You still there, Earl? I just hit a button here on the radio, and I don't think I meant to.
change of season over here trying to be a farmer.
Oh, okay, very good. But you're doing okay?
Yeah. Just listening in and trying to get educated. We got a battery situation on my backup fiber optic line over here on my phone line. They want everything to travel faster than light, so they changed it ain't copper no more, it's all that fiber stuff, and I'm not familiar with how to fix this. Apparently, I'm not familiar with how to replace a battery that's wore out in a backup battery thing, so I had to call a technician. Instead of sending me a device, they're going to send somebody out to replace it for me.
Very good. Anything else for the net tonight? You are pretty fuzzy, but I can full copy on you, Earl.
Well, I bumped it up a little bit. I'm going to get a little bit closer to the microphone. Maybe my audio will compensate for the carrier that it's got a carry on it. But anyway, be good, be careful, and howdy out there from antenna to antenna down here in the bold city of Stick City and Cedar City. JE4DZ, 73 Paul, and everyone out there.
Very good. There was Earl, like you said, in Stick City, which is actually just east of the Cedars of Lebanon, in a place called Noreen. Who else is east? Hey, very good. How are you doing there, Jeff?
Doing good, sir. I think I gotta give you another number.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm definitely, you give me a number, okay? Everything okay on your end?
Yes, sir. Doing fine. Doing well. Everything's hunky-dory, as Earl said.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, as you age, even just getting up in the morning is a hunky-dory day.
Absolutely. That's right. Another day is a great day.
Yeah, very good. Anything for the net, Jeff?
No, sir. Nothing for the net. This is WD4
Yeah, very good. That's Jeff in Lebanon. Whiskey Delta. It's Whiskey Delta 4, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, very good. For some reason, it didn't look right to me. Anyways, Whiskey Delta 4, Bravo, Whiskey Zulu, and he's in Lebanon. Who else is east?
Wait a minute. We ain't getting old. We're getting mature.
Well, I'm way. In fact, I'm over mature.
Well, I guess you're rotten, right?
Yeah, overripe, man. I'm way past the sell date. Very good. That was Earl jumping in there. Who else is? Well, anyway, there was Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo. Yeah, I get it right. I already said it once. Whiskey Delta 4 Bravo Whiskey Zulu, and that's Jeff in Lebanon. Who else is east? All right, to the north, please.
Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec.
Very good. How are you doing, Brent?
Hey, doing good, Paul. I was laughing over your story with the Border Patrol. I'm surprised I had a run-in with them up there in Derby, Vermont, up there on 91.
Oh, is that right? Were they just patrolling on the highways up there?
There's a crossover right before you go to 55 into Canada, and I was a kid back then. I mean, I was with my cousins and stuff. I will never forget this guy. He was driving it looked like a mail Jeep. And of course, all the police up there used blue lights. They had red lights on theirs. And he pulled us over. And I swear to God, I thought he was a game warden. That really ripped him up.
You showed him your hunting permit?
No, I mean, we didn't know why we were being pulled over or anything. It was just like, I don't know where they got this guy, but honest to God, it was terrible.
Well, that's a pretty remote part of the country up there.
Well, that's probably where he needed to be.
Well, no, it's rough. I mean, he has to have something to do because it's how much activity can there be up on that border up against Canada? We're at northern New York and Vermont, New Hampshire. I mean,
probably not a lot, and I don't think back then, you know, this was 77, 78. I wouldn't think it had a whole lot, but I swear to God, then I found out how much these guys got paid at that time, and I said, well, no wonder they were mean.
And yeah, that's right. And I don't think they're paid much. I'm probably they're at a much higher scale now, but who knows? Just think they. Well, I don't know. I really don't know the deal. I know the New York State Police make a boatload of money.
Yeah, and that's just been in the last few years. I mean, they, them in Pennsylvania, yeah, everybody, in fact, everybody's got a good raise, you know, except us.
Well, I have to. You know, I'm not going to. I wouldn't even address that issue. As far as I'm concerned, it's how much do you pay a guy who, when he pulls over a car, he could be shot every day?
I know I made $6.35 an hour when I did it.
Oh, is that? What year was that?
And it was 1983, 84, 85.
Yeah, that was awful.
That was being a deputy sheriff.
Huh. I guess they figure that's the old school way of thinking, that the benefits made up for the pay.
Well, that was the crazy thing. They'd tell you, oh, well, you got to take home car. Well, you could only drive it if you were in your uniform.
Yeah, there's some municipalities don't even allow that.
No, that was one of the perks, that you had to take home car or something, but it didn't perk. You starved to death.
Well, you could always just wear the shirt. Nobody knows.
That's too funny. We had one that did that, and he just wore the shirt.
Anyway, anything else for the net, Brent?
No, that's it, Paul. Well, have a good night. 73 to everybody.
Yeah, very good. Oh yeah, one of my favorite stories. I had a friend of mine who worked on the border as a person who, he wasn't the guy who took tolls. He was the person who asked the questions about where you're going, how far, how long. This is the old school. This is what the only thing you needed to know get across into Canada was where are you going, how long are you going to be, are you taking anything with you of any anything, if you say are you hauling anything, and where were you all born. And if you weren't born in the United States, you had to show either a birth certificate for where you were born, or a green card. I don't know if they had green cards then. Or you had to show your naturalization papers. Those were the things you had to do. Well, they didn't deal with anyone, no matter who they were, any differently. Well, maybe the president or something like that. But one of the, I won't say the celebrity's name because I don't want to malign him. He's dead. And he seemed like a good guy then. And he came across the border in a limo, and he asked the driver those questions. And he looks in the back seat, and he asked the guy in the back seat, he says, "Where were you born?" He says, "I'm, X, whatever his name is." I know who it is, but I don't want to say his name because it doesn't matter. I like the guy. And he goes, "Sir, where were you born?" And he says, "I'm such and such." And okay, pull the car over. They were detained for a couple hours. So they don't have fool around on international borders. Anyway, who else is north?
They would hold you up. They have a service center, and they will hold you up for, unless you just got a delegated run into like Ford or something. They will hold you up for several hours. You have to get a broker to help you across the border.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's tougher now. In fact, I'm sure it's tougher now. But back then it wasn't really that bad but I did see if they suspected, because that was in the 60s, the late 60s, and drugs were starting to traffic across the border. And if they thought if they had a hint or someone gave them a heads up on it, they actually pulled the car over and they actually disassembled the car right in that service center at the bridge. And it was up to you to put it back together.
Yeah, they do a full. Well, I know we rolled over there. I worked for Transport America, which came out of Eagan, Minnesota, and they'd stop the truck and do a full safety inspection, and then it was about a 3-hour deal.
Yeah, that really cuts into somebody's income though if you're a trucker.
Oh yeah, it kills you.
Yeah, that's bad. Anyway, I appreciate you being there, Brent. Who else is north?
Katie for VUW, Carlin, Angeltown, Bethpage.
Hey, Carlin, what's up?
Okay, I guess doing okay. Turned winter time again out there today. That wasn't no fun. Let's go pay the tax, property tax. Got that done. Got a little groceries. Come on back. Froze every time I got out of the truck or out of the building. So, only I noticed at the beginning when you started the net, I only had like two or three on you, but then suddenly your signal just jumped up. I noticed one of the other guys mentioned something about if you were running a 5-watt net, and I was kind of wondering what was going on with that. My first thought was you might have been switched over to the wrong antenna or something. But all right, you're normal. You're back to normal now, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, there seem to be some odd conditions tonight. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, I wouldn't know, but it's pretty weird. Hey, by the way, do you use? I'm sure you use an email address, yeah, but you're not on the group site, so unless I'm not aware which one you are. But do you have an email you would share?
Well, I can tell it to you.
But
If it won't hurt. It's all lowercase, CENGLAND, @NCTC.com.
do me that first part again because I couldn't hear it properly.
CENGLAND, like one word. The C is the first initial of my first name, and then ENGLAND, last name. There's no space. All that CENGLAND @ North Central Telephone Cooperative, NCTC.com.
Okay, no, very good. Appreciate that. No, I just wanted to ask a few questions off than that. I did not know there was a phone cooperative in this state. I've never heard of a phone cooperative before.
Oh yeah, well there's a bunch of them around. They're mostly out in the rural stuff. This one's out of Macon County over there. And when we moved up here out of Davidson County back in '71, we was on a party line. Yeah. You pick the phone up to try to make a phone call, and you would hear like, "Well, Agnes, I've got the arthritis again in my shoulder." "Oh, is that so?" "Yeah, it just come back today," and that might go on for an hour.
Oh yeah, oddly, after I'm a little older than you are, but after post-war period in my town I lived in, there weren't enough phone lines to fill the kind of a boom of people that lived there. And so in turn, we had party lines. It wasn't that nobody could afford the lines. There weren't any lines available. It might be the same routine for you guys. And so we shared a line with one and possibly two other people. But I'd be on the phone with a friend and the woman across the street, she'd pick up the phone. "Paul, get off the phone."
Yeah, I think there was like 7 on the line we were on, but now up here they finally got us to everybody having a line. I don't know if that happened in the mid '70s to the '80s or not. I can't remember when that happened, but it's fiber optics through here now. So I've only got the internet, so I've got on the fiber optics because we got a cell phone. So I didn't see the point of having 2 phones.
Yeah, I imagine your rates are comparable to everybody else's because those things are kind of regulated by the state, aren't they?
Yeah, they, I'm being on a telephone cooperative like that. It's supported by the government, federal government, and it's also because I'm on their system. I'm actually part owner. I've never got no dividends though. I know a couple of years ago there was a senator down there at the state capitol when they were trying to jack up the phone rates and stuff. It's probably maybe 10 years ago. And he brought up that point that, why aren't you telephone cooperatives paying your people dividends? They got quiet real quick when they got half that. But I don't know. It's just the way it is, I guess. It's been interesting, but it's pretty good internet. I say it's $79.95 a month. And I click on something and it's instant download or anything like that. It's pretty good. I think I've got 100 megabytes. There's like 3 different tiers, and I got the 100 megabytes. But some other people around here's got more. But this is fast enough for me. I've downloaded service manuals and itself, just click on it. As soon as I click on it, it goes up in the screen, up in the corner of the screen, that I've downloaded it. It's done there. It's order in my download.
Yeah, that's the beauty of that fiber. It can really carry it fast. Anything else for the net there, Carl? Hello? I lose you? Anybody copy me at all?
Oh, were you hearing him at all?
Not on that last transmission, no.
Well, y'all were doubling.
Oh, really? Anyway, Carlin, you still there?
Carmen, I don't think he can hear you at all.
That doesn't make any sense, does it?
Nope.
Well, I don't know what the scoop is there. Doesn't make any sense.
You're back up to F7 on that transmission. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine. All right. Well, very good, Carlin. Appreciate the input on that. I'm hoping it stays up. All right. Thanks, Carlin. That was Carlin. He's up in Bethpage, Angeltown, Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. Who else is any place anywhere?
WB0 and hello.
Hello, Mark. Anything good?
No, no news is good news.
Just marking time.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, did you ever? Since you've been in radio a lot longer than I have been. I'm a latecomer, really. I started at 55 years old. Did you ever? Were you master at? I'll say master. Did you master CW in your travel?
No, I was a novice back in 69 or 70 or something like that. And in those days, you could only hold the novice license what was it, for 2 years, I think, and you couldn't renew it. And I got on every night, worked a friend about 60 miles away on 40 meters, and tried and tried and tried, and I never, ever got the hang of it. At the time, my wife was helping me, and she was grilling me on the alphabet originally, and she learned it in about a week, and 6 months later, I wasn't any better at it.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I mean, it seems to be. I've been working my butt off the last week, and I'm determined I'm going to master it. That doesn't mean I will, but I'm determined. I'm doing pretty good on the 10 words a minute, but we shall see. I passed the 5 words a minute test 15, whatever that is, 16 years ago. That when I first got licensed. But 10 words, a little tougher, but I think I'm going to be able to master it. I just got to keep after it every day.
Yeah. Well, I finally got enough 5 words a minute to pass a tech license later, and then I ended up getting credit for it and got a general. So I kind of came in the back door, but I had an awful, awful time with code.
Yeah, no, I know that. I realize, it's not. I'm not trying to point out anybody's weaknesses because I had the same one. I've had the same one. It's just I never figured out if it was just. The only thing I can explain is I could learn the code and I could learn all the alphabet. I don't think I ever got through the numbers at that point, but at the same time, you could name, you could give me a 2, and it would be this. If individually, I could pretty much be right on top of it. I mean, within a whatever that split second is. But that doesn't always work in code, even at 10 words a minute or 15 words a minute. There can't be any delays.
Yeah. Well, the buddy that got his license same time I did. I don't remember what year it was for sure. It was a long time ago. But anyway, he picked it right up and got to 20, 30 words a minute and just nothing flat. And he got tired of waiting on me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think it's the same thing with languages. I have taken, well, I had French in high school, but that doesn't count for much. And then I had some Spanish, and I had a fair amount, and even lived with a Spanish woman. I was just, fluent, the Spanish speaker. But she didn't make a big deal of speaking Spanish around me, so it doesn't really mean much. But I found it was difficult. Spanish was another language difficult for me, just as CW is difficult for me. So if CW is easier, at least I'm transmitting and listening in English words. But the trouble I had was the same kind of thing, is that when somebody's speaking quickly and you're not really able to hear and register as quickly, it just doesn't fly. I met a guy, just a run-of-the-mill guy. He wasn't any, and he did say he worked in Venezuela for a while, and he also, and I go, oh, that's cool. And he's Spanish and fluent in Spanish. I said, well, that's cool. He goes, yeah, well, I'm also fluent in Portuguese. I go, yeah, and there was another like French. I go, how? I said, what? How much studying have you done? He goes, I got to tell you, he says, just the languages come easy to me. I'm like, oh man, that must be nice.
Yeah, yeah, it must be. I've known some people like that, though, several of them. In fact, I was saying the buddy that got into ham radio at the same time I did with me. He was fluent in a couple of languages, and it was just easy for him. So I don't know. I should say I enjoyed it when I did it, and we chatted back and forth almost every night, and it was fun. I just never got any faster, but finally got through the bare minimum and was happy for that.
Well, yeah. In fact, that was one of the difficulties with CW. I mean, with that requirement, was it kept a lot of people out of ham radio just because they couldn't master it.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, I used to have to program call signs in code, and I find myself having to write it down on a piece of paper and look at it, and then I did better, but listening to it didn't work out. I think part of it was I, as a kid, was dyslexic, and probably still am. You probably always are once you're that way. But I think maybe that had something to do with it. My brain just wasn't connected.
Yeah, I get it. I really do. Like I said, some people just have that easy way to master that in their brain. It's already kind of wired for that kind of stuff. Others have a more difficult time. And I think I've heard some people say, I've tried, and it never clicks. So I understand. Anyway, like I said, I'm determined. Doesn't mean I'm going to make it, but I'm really determined to do it. In fact, me and Greg and Mike came for YRF are working on it. And if anybody else wants to join us as we're going to find the secret frequency to practice on. Anyway, that was Mark, Whiskey Bravo Zero, November Oscar. Is anybody else out there? Any place, anywhere? Who was that? Was that Brian?
Yeah, I'm just getting out of work, coming back home. I figured I'd get in on this late and I made it.
Well, you did. That's great. Work closes out at 8 o'clock or 8:30.
Well, the place shuts down at 8, but we have to clean all the brass, all the GSR, gunshot residue.
Boy, oh boy. There's got to be. Can't you get a HEPA filter to do that?
No, we're not allowed to broom anymore. We have to use these crazy stuff up anyhow. Something changed, but it just is what it is.
Yeah, no, well, it all pays the same, right?
Yeah, that's the way it is. Yeah, unfortunately not a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow I take a trip down to Chattanooga, pick up my spectrum analyzer, and I'll be living large.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah, where did you buy that on Facebook or on what?
No, it was a cable company contract that went out of business, I guess. And it was just one of those
Did was it a current model spectrum analyzer?
No, not the one I wanted. I got an 8591 C, which is the Hewlett Packard one that has it has the cable. It has cable scenarios. I mean, like you could do composite triple and CSO and something the cable companies use. But they don't do that anymore anyhow because they're all digital and they don't bother with it at all. But it's a good spectrum analyzer. I think it goes to 1.8 and it has it could have a teapot in it. I'm not certain. I hope it does.
You can start your own shop over there, or you got so much gear that you want to fix.
Well, that's kind of a neat thing because what the actual levels are compared to, because your S meter is only so good.
No, my S meter sucks.
There it is. See, so this will tell me the actual dBMP, although I'll have to convert the 75 ohms to 50, but that's okay.
Very good. Anything else for the net?
Oh no, that's all. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow. It's sort of a long one today. That's all.
Well, driving down to Chattanooga is kind of a long day.
Oh yeah, but I can get a moon pie when I get down there.
Yeah, fresh. Have you ever stopped by the factory?
Oh yeah, you get a banana one.
Oh, is that right? I used to have an account with the Klondike ice cream factory in Clearwater, Florida. And I could go, I usually went in the back door, or I could, let me back up on, in the service area. But I'd go through the lobby because that's why they had a freezer full of Klondike ice cream bars.
Well, I used to go to the Zippo lighter and fight with a big lighter out front, and they'd give me one.
Oh, is that right? So you got a whole collection of those, huh?
Yeah, they're Bismarck and stuff like that. I guess they're probably worth something to somebody.
The logoed ones tend to be, the ones that have like, professionally logoed, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, well, nobody smokes anymore. So cigarette lighters are kind of, they're like buggy whips.
Well, yeah, I saw one on eBay for the ship I served on, and it was like an original. I don't know how original. It was somewhere. It was either the late 40s or early 50s. Zippo lighter. It looked pretty beat up, and it had the logo and the designation that it had in those years. And I think it was selling for somewhere around $100.
Yeah, you kind of wonder. I kind of wonder on a ship logo, what does CB2 mean?
Well, usually it's a carrier, aircraft carrier, but it might be something else. Did you look it up?
It was a Franklin Roosevelt, the guy who served on it. Just an old guy.
Yeah. The Roosevelt was it was in World War II. It got decommissioned somewhere in the 70s.
Well, he was in it, and we're on it. He's an old cuss, but I don't think he was a World War II vet. So he must have been, riding around before it was decommissioned.
Oh yeah, no, it's just in fact, when I was in basic training in '68, when we got our orders in boot camp, a couple of the guys were being sent to the Roosevelt, wherever it was stationed. I don't remember where it was. I think it was on the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, this guy's the originator for Harris Electric.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's those aircraft carrier guys. Yeah, more power to them. I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, well, that's more fun than a submarine.
Well, quickly, I'll tell you why it's not fun. I just talked to Rick, who's out in Ashland City, West Ashland City, and he was on an aircraft carrier for a couple, 3 years. And I said, "Which ports did you go into?" And they were in Westpac over in Pacific region, and he named like Singapore and 2 other ports. That was it, or maybe 3. I don't. It wasn't more than 3. And I said, "That's it?" He goes, "Yeah, that's it." I said, "Wow." I spent 3.5 years on the destroyer, and we went to about 45 ports, Liberty ports, and 35 different countries. And so the aircraft carriers can only pull in so many big, ports. And then the submarines have the same problem. Most nuclear submarines aren't permitted in foreign ports, except for a few, like Naples, it'll go into, or there's a port in Scotland, and there's another one in England. I don't know about and I'm not even sure about Japan. But what I'm saying is they have very limited uh, Liberty ports. I had a friend of mine who served on a nuclear submarine, and he did the same thing. I said, "Where'd you go in Liberty?" He said St. Thomas, and he named me one other. He went to two different Liberty ports in his 4.5 years in the Navy. So those big ships and the submarines stink.
It's an adventure.
I don't know, man. See, like those guys on that aircraft carriers over there in the Middle East during that whole Afghan and Iraq and all that stuff that's now going on over there. They don't get the many ports, and they're out at sea for extended periods of time. And it's all they do at sea is work their butts off. Well, I don't work as not like construction work, but it's still work. And they have to be up around 18 hours a day. It's a big pain. It's tedious. I wouldn't want. It's awful work to me. It's just. I mean, on a destroyer, we were just a slight upgrade from McHale's Navy.
Yeah, all they do is, I was told, all they do is get up and paint one after the other over and over and over.
Well, that's a pretty good description. But yeah, we did a lot of other things. But yeah, it was just different. Anyway, I don't want to belabor that point. Anything else on that, Brian?
I'm good. I got checked in. I feel fulfilled.
Give me your call again because I got a brain freeze here.
Kilo Alpha 3, Charlie Tango, Papa.
Yeah, very good. I had the 3 Charlie Tango Papa, and I couldn't remember the second letter. Very good. As much as I talk to you, you think I'd remember it. Anyway, that's Brian, and he's mobile tonight. Kilo Alpha 3, Charlie Tango Papa. Is anybody else out there?
Kilo Charlie 9, Echo Tango Sierra Paul, northbound Juliet.
Have we met before?
A few times.
I haven't heard from you in a while. You doing okay?
Yeah, I've been in and out, but sitting here now trying to keep the shack nice and warm. But yeah, all is well.
Oh, very good. I've been traveling much?
Just up to the mothership in Pennsylvania, work-related meetings, things like that.
It's amazing how expensive it is to go to a meeting.
Yeah, it's not cheap these days, but we just got our new expense report things. Every year we get the new mileage thing, reimbursement for driving or whatever, and it's kind of the tipping point now where it's starting to get cheaper to fly places than to drive places.
Okay, I'm going to ask you I've been out of the loop on corporate stuff for 10, 12 years. 12 years, 14 years. Tell me why they didn't do that on a Zoom call.
We do a lot of that kind of stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just better to be there. You get these Zoom calls and somebody's always feeding back, and somebody's in the drive-through, and somebody's got a dog barking in the background, and somebody's muted, and it's sort of a calamity.
I got you. I had one of my best business meetings I ever had. My boss called me from Virginia, and he said, and I was in Tampa, and he said, "I need you to meet me in Atlanta. We're meeting with a very important customer." I go, "Okay." I thought, wow, this must be big stuff. Didn't know the guy. And he goes, "Yeah, fly up to Atlanta, rent a car, and pick me up." And I'll rent a car and pick me up. So okay. I said, I flew up to Atlanta. I went up to Atlanta, picked him up wherever he was. I don't know where I think he might have been at the airport. I don't remember now. And then we went to visit the customer, and we had a nice luncheon. And it wasn't anything big deal. I'm not sure why we went there. It wasn't. I just okay, great. It was just one of our manufacturer's reps, and we sat down and talked for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I drove him back to the airport, and I got on a plane and flew back to Tampa. Well, that little business meeting after the tab at the restaurant, after that and the airfare in the car, I think I spent $500 on that lunch.
Oh yeah, I believe it. It's nowadays, you add it all up, it adds up quick. Just to get a meal in an airport is $20 if you get something considered fast food. You put sit down and have a a real lunch or something, a sit down place, you're 30 to 40 bucks real quick for a meal. But yeah, it's like that time of the year, same thing, manufacturer meetings and stuff. Everybody's coming in, demoing all their new next coming best ever stuff.
All lies. They're all lies.
Yeah, marketeering.
That's why after those 30, 40 years in that side, the technical side of the business, in dealing with salespeople and me being a salesman and dealing with manufacturers and dealing with my own manufacturing that I worked for, I have a pretty good BS sensor.
Yeah. Yeah, especially in our industry, we tend to call people out pretty quickly, and we got a pretty good engineering department that'll really go through things with a fine-tooth comb. They like the challenge of finding problems.
Well, we had I don't know what that industry does as far as performance analysis, I'll call it, or standards. I know there are standards in IEEE, et cetera, and all kinds of things, but I won't go into the details. The industry I was in had an association of almost all the manufacturers. The major manufacturers were in it, and they published their performance standards or performance in standard performance sheets for all the biggest, all the major pieces of equipment. And if they misrepresented their equipment, or in other words, on paper, if they misrepresented it, the association would actually not permit them to bid on public contracts for a year.
Oh, wow. Serious penalties there. Well, that's good. People should be held up to that. Yeah, we same standards, IEEE, AES, SBE, solid audio and broadcast standards and things, but then our engineering department has even some more stricter standards just for build quality and performance and things, because our stuff tends to get bumped around a lot in trucks and sea containers and whatever else. It just gets stalled in the studio and sits there. So we try to make sure everything's built and components aren't falling out of things when it's bouncing down the road.
Yeah, well, that's part of the battle is you can have something perform real well, but is it a high maintenance item?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes simplicity is better if it survives.
Oh yeah, some of the most. It's funny you brought that up. We had the one manufacturer I worked for. They had been manufacturing this particular compressor for refrigeration, commercial industrial compressor for refrigeration only, not for air conditioning, and for everything from ice houses to whatever, big refrigeration warehouses. And they've been making it since like 1940, that particular style. And we still carried parts for all of them going back 50, 60 years because they were so durable and so reliable. People in that kind of industry, efficiency doesn't matter as much as reliability.
Oh yeah. The more technical things get, the more complicated, the more problems they have, right? And, we had used to still do some work with the NHL. We would do a lot of their outdoor series, hockey games and things that put speakers and amplifiers outdoors. And we had this newer model amplifier, really nice, does a lot of great things. But of course, we got it outside. It was like a show in Chicago, and it was 0 degrees in the middle of winter, and then the amplifiers would turn on. And it turned out that there's a thermal sensor to protect the amplifier from overheating. But if it got too cold, it went below the range of what the computer and DSP and the amp recognized as a valid value. So it just goes, well, I'm just not going to turn on. It's too cold. So we had to get our hair dryers and preheat the darn thing. And things like that. And you get a sense of the amplifier was made to switch on. Do you think somebody would have taken it outdoors at some point and seen if it worked or not?
Yeah, that's funny. It's a switch. That's funny. I hadn't heard that one, something like that before. I've heard similar things, but yeah, I mean, manufacturers often do kind of goofy things. Anyway, anything else for the net, Paul?
No, sir. Just want to check in and say hi.
Very good. Appreciate you being there. That was Paul. He's in North Mount Juliet, Kilo Charlie 9 Echo Tango Sierra. Anybody else out there?
Kilo 4 for Lima.
Oh, how you doing there, Al? Alan, I keep on calling you Al when I know that's not the name you use. Alan, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Rolled out of bed and turned the radio on, and there you guys are. So, funny stories you guys are telling. You know, I joined the Air Force to see the world. Ended up flying B-52s, and they sent me to Blytheville, Arkansas, and Columbus, Mississippi. Although I did deploy to Diego Garcia one time.
Oh, you weren't there for very long in Diego Garcia? I've never been there, but I had some friends who were there, and we were in that territory, but we wouldn't go into that port.
Now, this is during the war. We were flying combat missions out of Diego and flying up to Iraq. Back then, you know, it's a 20-something hour sorties.
Wow, is it that far, really? That you it's 10 hours each way from Diego Garcia up to Iraq? I'd have to look at the map again.
Yeah, Diego's just a rock down in the Indian Ocean, so took 2 air refuelings to get there and 1 to get on the way back.
Oh, wow. I'll have to look again. I always, for some reason in my mind, I always think of Diego Garcia being fairly north in the Indian Ocean, but it's not.
Yeah, it's right there on the equator. It was an interesting time. They had a nice ham radio station there, so I was actually DX for a while and worked a whole lot of pilots. And I'm the CW guy, so I understand what you're going through.
No, it's not. There's in fact, if you've ever seen it, let me know. But it's called. It's free on. It's a free app. The guy, whoever makes it, has several apps. But the 10 words per minute, and then I think it's a 15 and a 20 and a 30. I believe those are. And you pay the first one, the 10 meter, the 10 word per minute is free, and the going upwards are $29 a piece, which is no big deal. I hope to get to that level, but it's actually a good program. It's the best one I've ever used, and it really helps me a lot because it just keeps it over. And if you don't meet us, I don't even know what, he doesn't even tell you what the criteria is when you're going through, the alphabet as you work your way up through the alphabet. Each level, you have to keep performing at certain percentage before you'll move on. And so if you're messing up, you can go through about 600 characters before it moves up to the next level.
Yeah, the only good advice I'd heard before, and I always give it to other folks, is don't try to visualize dots and dashes in your brain. Just listen to the sound of the character. I used to teach code, and for the folks that would try to visualize dots and dashes and then convert it to, the letter, there's a plateau you reach right at 10 words a minute. And I think that's where they put the old general ticket at 13 words a minute. And if you try to think of dots and dashes right about 10 words a minute is about as fast your brain can work.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and I'm not quite at that level on some of them. Some of them I recognize easily just by the sound, and there's others. There's a split second where I go, "What's that? What is that again?" It's just funny how, but your brain does click on them after a while, and you just naturally hear it as that letter.
Yeah, that's right. And then when you get faster, you'll hear words, and it's the same with languages. You're not, when somebody says the word dog, you don't spell it out D-O-G in your head. You know what I mean?
I was telling my wife that because I was talking to her about this CW practice and languages, and I said, "Well, we weren't even talking about. We were talking about because she works at the post office, and there was a misguided letter. It was all in Chinese, but it had the zip code correct." So anyway, we were discussing it, and I said, she was saying, "I don't know how anybody understands that language," and I said, "Well, it's pictorial. That's the only way. I don't know crap about Chinese, writing, but I said it's as far as I know, it's a pictorial. I said it just represents different things by those symbols, obviously. But see, ours are just symbols too. The letter TALK doesn't mean anything in somebody's mind unless they know it represents physically talking. They have to know what those 4 letters together mean. So ours is also symbol based.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, but like they'll have like a symbol for tree, so to speak. So the Chinese word for tree is different than the Japanese word for tree. But when like a Chinese person could write it and a Japanese person could pretty much read it.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I knew there was differences, but I had no idea what they were.
Yeah, that's right. And we had an exciting, I'm actually in Germany right now, but Frankfurt, we had an exciting trip over here. Leaving over here tornadoes, got a tornado warning over the radar center, so they had to evacuate. We had already pushed back from the gate, and then the same storm system came by, and the tower had to evacuate at O'Hare, so we ended up leaving about 4 hours late.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's I could tell you was something different about your voice quality. So I wasn't sure whether your remote station was operating differently or whatever. But yeah, you've got a much bassier. That's the only way I can say it. It's a much bassier version.
Yeah, I think that's because yeah, I just when I rolled out of bed, I just happened to turn the radio on because I'm still half asleep, you know, because it's what is it, about 4 o'clock in the morning here.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah, well, yeah, that must be tough on you having those different schedules.
Yeah, it's getting worse as I get older, so I'm ready to retire.
Well, it's just not the different schedules. But even when I was young during those time changes, when I'd be traveling around the world, every night we'd be going through a different time zone, and you're doing that almost every day.
Yeah, that's right. And hush up on those Zoom meeting things, you know, because we like it when people travel to meet face to face.
Oh no, I'm telling you what, the airlines seem to be doing gangbusters this, now. Really, seem to be doing great.
That's right. In ham radio, we call them eyeball QSOs, right?
Yeah, that's right. No, it really is good. I'm glad to see that everything's bouncing back, especially the airlines. They dumped so many routes, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall, though. So everything's cyclical. You know how that goes. Well, but I have to keep the net going here, so I'll just give you another number there. Thanks for doing what you do, Paul.
Yeah, very good. That was Alan, and oddly enough, he was calling in from Germany. That's Kilo 4 Alpha Lima, and he's got a remote base in Old Hickory, I believe it is. And he comes in real good here, and probably most of you could hear him as well because he's got a good system over there. But he's got the internet connection between Germany and here when he's stationed. He's a flyer for, he's a pilot for one of the big airlines. I just couldn't tell you which one. I'm not sure I know which one. I don't think he's ever mentioned. Doesn't want to do it over the air. Who else is any place anywhere? I think we ran out of people. We had 16 check in, case you were keeping track. Is anybody else? No lollygaggers, lurkers, or sandbaggers out there?
K1 SPD.
You were just thinking I was not going to say nothing, weren't you?
Yeah, I was just waiting.
Very good. You doing okay?
Oh, not too bad. So.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I mean, back on that code thing, if you didn't hear me telling that sad story.
Yeah, I heard that. I saw my key up in the attic a couple of days ago. I was up there. I got a couple of keys up there when I tore down the station when I had it upstairs. I just didn't bring the keys downstairs with me. I guess I'm going to have to.
Well, you and I both went through that course, that CW. I forgot what was it. What is that course called? I forgot.
CW Academy.
Yeah, Academy. That was it. CW Academy, and that was pretty tough because it starts out at 20, and that's what kind of killed me. I mean, that's my excuse anyway. But this time, it's easier for me to start at 10.
Yeah, I need to do something with it again. Because I always say when I got my extra, I wasn't going to use any of the band privileges until I had a contact in CW. Well, that's been blown out the window.
Yeah, try that free 10 words a minute. It's on that the Google Play Store or whatever it's called. It's free. It's called 10. The letters 10 WP. Yeah, I get it straight. Words per minute, WPM, and it's free. It's a really it's one of the best. It's probably the best I have used in terms of training. I've used some other online video stuff, CW training, those programs. But this one really, it just pushes it right along, and it's all at 10 words a minute. It really keeps my attention. I can spend 45 minutes on it, and at a time it goes by quickly because you're just moving right along and it doesn't quit.
And where's that?
Just on the App Store, the Google. I guess it's called Google App Store, whatever it is, the App Store that you would normally get a download. I think you'd probably be available on the web too, but you'd want to do it on your phone. I take it you have a smartphone.
Yeah, I'm talking in the microphone, didn't cue it up. Yeah, okay. I'll look on my phone.
Yeah, no, the reason I found it to be very helpful is again, it starts out when you first open it up and you start it up, it gives you, like, I forget now, it starts with A and another letter. And then and as soon as you get that mastered on a certain percentage of accuracy, it automatically moves up to the next level. And it's the only thing it misses, and I kind of, is when I do well, it's in fact, it's human nature. When I do well on something, whatever it is, I want feedback to say, hey, that's good. You did real good, Paul. You like to hear that. But this one, it doesn't do it. It just moves you up to the next level. And that's the only feedback you get. You made it.
Okay, well, I'll take a yonder look at it then.
All right, very good. I hope it all works out. Really, me and Greg and Mike are working on it right now. So we'll see how it fares ourselves.
Okay, sounds good. 10 meter might be, I don't know, you might be able to hear me tonight, I don't know. And listen for me in 220.
I will do. All right, Scott, good to have you in there. Anything else?
No, that's everything. 2 minutes.
Very good. Almost a lollygagger, Scott. Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. Anybody else out there before we jump over to whatever we're going to? 28415. All right, we're going over to 28.415. It's K4PEW. We'll see you in a second. All right, very good. This is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey on the 10-meter portion of our net on 28.415. Looking for check-ins from the west. Please come now. From the west, please come now. Ah, very good. You sound good in there tonight there, Greg. How copy me? All right, very good. That was Greg in Antioch, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. Who else is west?
KG4ILB, Jack and Donaldson.
All right, I got 2 in there, but Jack came in big dollars tonight. Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor. How are you copying me, Jack?
Yeah, great.
Ah, very good. Glad to hear it. Was there another party in there?
Kilo 4 Alpha Lima.
Ah, very good. You jumped right on, or you stayed up for the event, did you, Alan?
I help myself.
Well, very good. We've got there's our DX, well, kind of a DX contact. It's Alan, the Kilo 4 Alpha Lima, who's in Germany on his remote base. It's over here in somewhere in a remote, unspecified location between Mount Juliet and Nashville. Good to have you in. How does it sound to you over the internet over there?
Actually, it sounds great. And I'm even going through a VPN, so it's a really nice connection tonight.
Yeah, you sound great. I would not have guessed you were somewhere else. I mean, somewhere else in the world. If only HF was always that good.
Huh? That's great.
Well, very good. That's Alan, Kilo 4 Alpha Lima, and he's in Germany via a VPN over the internet. I don't know. It might be satellite. I don't know. I doubt it's through Atlantic cable. Who else is in Europe? Please come now. No, anywhere, any place. Please come. From the west or south?
Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta.
Oh, I hear you just fine there, Scott.
Yeah, it's strong as you've ever been.
Oh, very good. Well, you better tell my wife then. Very good. That's Scott. He's in Laverne, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. Who else is west or south? Is anybody copying anything?
Not I.
Yeah, I thought I heard something in the background, but I always do. I can't tell if it's the tinnitus or it's people. Anybody from the south or east?
Okay, I'm for a while, right?
I'm sorry, I put my headphones fully on and now I'm deaf. All right, Michael, you sound good. I'm not going to ask you how you copy me, but I'm sure it's the same.
Yeah.
Very good. That's Michael, KM4YRF, and he's in just east of me, 2 miles or so in Mount Juliet. Who else is east?
Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echoes over here east of Ho City.
Ho Chi Minh City, did you say?
Yeah, that's right. What you said.
Very good, Earl. You sound good. That's Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. How are you copying other stations tonight, Earl?
So far so good. I didn't copy them all, but I heard Alan in there smidge a bit there, so I got a little rascal. He done there you go. Hope he did that there language speaking apparatus.
Yeah, I think he's used to it. They've been doing this flying thing around the world a long time. Anything else for the net, Earl?
No, that's all I got. Just checking in.
All right, very good. That's Earl. He's in Noreen, just east of Cedars at Lebanon Park. Who else is east? Anybody east or north?
Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor, Quebec, north.
Ah, very good. Brent, you sound good. How are you copying stations tonight? Seems like a good night.
You're coming in good, much further east than you. I'm not hearing much.
Yeah, okay, very good. But anybody else on the west side there? Anybody west or north? I mean, was there anybody up there you could hear? Are you not copying me now? Anyway, that was Brent. Kilo Echo 4, Romeo, Victor, Quebec, and he's in Northwest Wilson. Anybody else north, south, east, or west? Are you on that tall antenna you're using, that MFJ thing?
Well, I'm on a actually.
Yeah, okay, so you're horizontal tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the difference here. I'm actually here using everything that's fluttery on it compared to what I use the vertical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It seemed odd to me because your signal was so much lower on 10 meters.
Yeah, it's probably the super setup.
I'm sure it is, but I can still hear you, though. I mean, that's pretty decent. You still got that other antenna up, right?
It's actually down right now. So if you just right now,
All right, I got you. All right, very good. That's Paul, Kilo Charlie 9 Echo Tango Sierra in North Mount Juliet. Anybody else out there tonight? Anybody else, any place, anywhere? Lollygaggers, lurkers, and sandbaggers? All righty, we broke with 9 there. So we had 9 at 17 on 2 meters and 9 here on 10 meters. And got our first DX from Germany. Kind of. Anyway, we're going over to 223.415. We'll see you there. K4 PEW. Can I call CPU because we got a German contact in there?
Which for today? KM4,
All right, very good. Let me get this in here. So Michael, you got me in there. K4 PEW. Got Michael, KM4YRF. And we got KF4 KFQ. Tony and Smyrna. I think it's Scott. Are you in there tonight? Ah, very good. You sound good in there tonight. There, Scott. Kilo 1, Sierra, Papa Delta. Are you hearing any of the other 3 fellas that are in there besides, 2 besides me? Ah, very good. Scott, you got doubled a little bit there with Jack. He didn't realize he was doing it. That was KG4 ILB. Jack, you copying everybody okay tonight? Okay, let's try that because Scott's only in Laverne. I'm surprised you can't hear him. Scott, are you copying Jack at all? Okay, choppy. And you're not copying them all, Jack? Jack, you say you weren't copying him at all?
No, not at all.
He hears you just a little bit. He's chopping, just breaking squelch apparently. All right, well, very good. It's still very good as far as we got going on here. Anybody else in there tonight? Please come down. All right, very good. We got our Central Europe station in there, Kilo 4 Alpha Lima Ellen in Germany. Where'd you say you were in Germany? I didn't catch that.
I'm in Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, Germany. Cool. Yep, never been to Germany for that. Haven't been to Europe for that matter.
Well, sounds like you've been to a lot of other places, though.
Oh yeah, no, I've been to lots of places, but never in anywhere in Europe unless you count Ethiopia as Europe. No, the farthest north I think I went outside of North America was probably Dakar, Senegal.
No, I've never been there. I've never even been to Australia.
Oh, have you? You have been to Australia? Did you say?
No, never there. New Zealand, just pretty much China and Singapore. That's about as far south as I've got.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've never been to Australia. I've been through the Pacific, but never to Australia. We were too after Vietnam. We were too busy going home. Anyway.
Okay, a little before my time.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm getting old. It's taken me 70, almost 75 years to realize how dumb I've been in my life.
Very good. I'll give it back to that K4AM.
Very good. That's Alan in Germany at the moment on his remote base, who's here in Middle Tennessee. Kilo 4 Alpha Lima. Anybody else in there?
K4CV.
Oh, KD4CV. Yeah, it wasn't KD4. I got the volume down just a little bit. How are you copying people tonight there, Greg?
I haven't copied, no copy on the bird state.
Yeah, Scott, are you which antenna are you using over there? You seem to be having trouble getting out. Yo, Scott. I think Scott jumped out of there. Scott may have the same difficulty. No, I don't know. Let's see. Where are I have to look. Laverne is where compared to where you are in Antioch, Greg.
Laverne is, when you go into Rutherford County, it is the first city you come to out of Antioch. And it's southeast of me, and it's between me and Smyrna.
Okay, so he may have that trouble with that same trouble that Tony has going to the northwest.
Depending on where he is, maybe, but most of Laverne is on the side of that hill that we speak of.
Oh, okay, very good. I wasn't sure. That's what I was wondering where that hill was in relationship to you and him. Yeah, again, he's having trouble hitting you and Jack. So it sounds like he's in a bad location.
Yeah, you know, what's like antenna?
I don't remember what he said he had for an antenna. I really don't recall. I want to say he was using a beam, but I'm not positive of that. So he may be pointed more my direction. Scott, did you jump out of there?
Yeah, I can.
Which antenna are you using, Scott?
Little, like a box.
No, it's like a mock sun. Yeah, that. But it's interesting to me because you apparently got that towards the due north, going up towards Antioch.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I just turned it so I heard you real well.
No, I got you. You're probably generally pointed to me, which would be northeast, and that would be away from like Jack and Donaldson and Greg in Antioch.
You want me to? I'm going to fix that stop first.
Yeah, hold on one second, Scott. Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. We got Carlin in there. That's a pretty big number for tonight. There's 8 people in there tonight. That's pretty cool. Almost as many as we had on 10 meters. No, the conditions are pretty good tonight, I would say. Don't you think so, Mike?
I think it's excellent. I can hear Scott. It's kind of low, but I can hear him okay.
Yeah, I can even hear German. I mean, it's awesome.
Well, I heard Germany big.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, it's easy when it's only 12 miles away. Anybody else got anything for the net tonight? All right, unless we have anything specific to talk about. Our net ran longer than usual, but I'm kind of pleased with it. I think we had a good time. I didn't hear any complaints, but I think we had some interesting discussions, at least to me.
I've got to. I got to get out of here. I got to work tomorrow, so I got to get stuff ready. So thank you for doing that, Paul. And good night, everybody. And I'll listen for you on the next step. Okay, for a while.
Yeah, get your sleep and try to get well. Get rid of that pneumonia. Very good, guys. I think I'm going to cut out of here. Appreciate everybody being there, including Alan. I bet you're up at that time of day. And again, I'll just a rundown. It was me in there, KM4YRF, Mike in here, my Juliet, KF4, KF2, Tony in Smyrna, Kilo 1, Sierra, Papa Delta, Scott in Laverne, Kilo Golf 4, India Lima, Victor, Jackson, Donaldson, Kilo 4, Alpha Lima, who was remote base out of Germany into, I think it's Hermitage, and it's stationed in Hermitage. And then we also had Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo, and that's of course Greg in Antioch, and Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. So total 8, I believe that is. And I appreciate everybody being there, and have a good night. K4PW.
Good night. I have to wake up. I fell off to sleep. And thought about you must be up. Anyway, doodle to y'all. Good night. Have a good night. Try to stay warm. K4PW, and I'm going to eat back over there on 47585.
Very good. Have a good night there, Carly. Thanks for being here. K4PW.
Yeah, you're an S7 up here. You and Michael both were an S7 and almost an S9 up here on this frequency.
Where'd you say you normally go up there? I just want to make a note of it. You're 147, 585?
Yeah, that's where a bunch of us hang out up there. I don't know if there's anybody over there right now, but there's a kind of a crowd that hangs out over there on that frequency.
Ah, very good. All right, I'll give it a try. Even not tonight, if some other night. I've been kind of busy recently, but I'll have to give it a try. We'll catch you later, Carl. You have a good night.
Yeah, you've been over there once before. It's been a while back, but anyway. Talk to you later. Or be in the future as well.